All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome. Mr. Naples intro. Yeah, I might bring it. I like that music too. How's everyone doing? How is everyone's morning? Did we get some coffee in us? Some coffee, some caffeine, some Celsius maybe? Whoever drinks Red Bull in the morning, you are a psychopath. Or someone out there I know is drinking some Red Bull right now. Red Bull or Monster. Buenos dias. Good morning. Yeah, Tesla's looking good. Please water your plant. That plant never dying, man. Green tea? Ooh, nice. I like some matcha. Matcha is good. Oh my God. The Giants, I mean, I already told everyone that they're the worst. The Giants should be the worst team on the power rankings this morning. Whenever those power rankings come out, the Giants should be at the bottom. When do power rankings come out? Oh, someone just came out with power rankings. Let's see. Are the Giants at the bottom? And if they're not, I don't understand why. Holy shit, they're bad. All right. I don't know why the Bears, the Broncos, the Panthers are above the Giants. Well, it should be at the bottom. Man, was that a unbelievable game last night. I wish I didn't I wish I didn't like the Giants, man. So welcome back, guys. Hope everyone's having a good morning. Interesting day yesterday. If you guys were part of the Discord, definitely some learning lessons. I'm going to make I hope you enjoy it, a video tonight about some of the mistakes that I made yesterday. I did end the day green, which was good because I reassessed later day and caught that 15,060 rejection on the NASDAQ, which was straight from our pre-market analysis, right? Our supply level that we were watching. But I took some early actions that I probably should not have, right? Sort of before the supply level hit. I think this is a really good learning lesson. Definitely something that highlights the importance of only trading at key levels, right? So I think a good little learning lesson. I'm going to make a video on it tonight. I hope you guys do enjoy that. If you want to watch that, I'm going to walk through some of the losses I took, how I was able to jump back and reassess and, end the day green. So definitely a little bit of a messy day yesterday, but sometimes those are the types of days we encounter, right? It's not always going to be the one and done, right? We all love the one and done. That's what I strive for. But once in a while, we'll get those. You made big bucks in the Discord yesterday. Hey, hell yeah, Greg. Nice job, man. Some days you're going to get you're going to have to dig down in the trenches a little bit. So that was my day yesterday, but a very, very, it's very, very obvious what happened yesterday. And that's why I want to make a video about it. So be on the lookout for that video tonight, about my day yesterday. And yeah, so very key levels again here on the NASDAQ. We are seeing rejections at the exact same level again. There's no surprise here. And hopefully we can play within this channel again. It's been very clean. So let's look to trade it again. All right. So press that like button if you guys could. Early likes are always the best. It puts gives us a nice floor to start to work off of. So if you guys are here now, early morning, about 850 of you, if you could press that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. And let's get into it. So the schedule. Let's pull up the economic calendar. I think we have a little bit today. Yeah, not really. Job openings. Yeah, actually, I might even just skip the economic calendar. There's nothing there. But we can pull it up to look at what's coming here in the next few days, in the next week, if anyone missed that yesterday. So here is the economic calendar. And we can see that today we have Atlanta Fed President Bostic speaks at 8 a.m., which that's done, or I guess speaking now, and then job openings at 10 o'clock. Really nothing there, right? Really nothing there. Tomorrow, ADP. We'll see what happens there. Thursday, jobless claims. We'll see that. And then Friday, employment report, unemployment rate, hourly wages. And next week is really the big stuff, right? Next week, you have PPI and CPI. That's really the main event. That's probably one of the more important events going on here next week. But this week, not much. Today, pretty light. Tomorrow, pretty light. So not much to worry about there. Today, nothing near market open. Job openings at 10 a.m. Maybe a little bit of volatility to be cautious of. All right. Yeah, I've been sort of, getting a little bit more interested in that. It's a good question, Michael. That 10-year, man, this is interesting. Yeah, I mean, you can see it, right? It's already very obvious, right? The 10 years rising, that's not good for the market, right? It's been putting pressure on the market. You have not seen any strength on the market, right? So this is very weak, guys, and I would not be surprised to see another major downside move, right? What is showing you here on the ES Daily that there's strength? There's nothing here. So I don't remember the last time I've taken a call option, and that's just me going with the market trend, right? The market trend here is short the pops. Every pop that we get, short the supply levels, and I'm going to continue to do that, whether I'm right or wrong, right? So like yesterday, like we talked about yesterday, which I'll get into shortly. Yesterday we had some morning upside, right? This upside on the ES, I was not interested in playing that upside. I was interested in trying to short into this. So, I'll get into this. I don't want to get into this too deeply here. I shorted a little bit too early. Timing was a little bit off, right, in this area. But then I nailed the shorts up here at that previous high on the NASDAQ. So I'm pretty much exclusively shorting pops on this market right now. I'm not interested in playing this short-term upside into supply. All right, so I shorted around this 14,000, the 14,940 yesterday. It was a decent short entry, but it was a little bit early. I got stuck in a little bit of chop, which is, it's going to happen, This is trading, so your timing's never going to be perfect. Now, what I should have done was I should have waited for the bounce into the previous high. This was your short entry, so I did take some losses in here, but I did go back in towards these highs, and this is what ended up turning me profitable on the day after taking some losses in here, right? And I could have, right? I could have avoided my losses by just waiting for that key level, right? But what I say all the time, right, or what I said yesterday, we're all human, right? We're going to make some mistakes, right? So I made a little bit of an early entry on shorts, took some losses, re-entered at that high, made back my losses. Obviously, in hindsight, I would like to have just have a cleaner day, right, and just did nothing until this supply hit. But, that's asking for perfection, which is not always going to happen, and you can't be upset about that. I have a very, very important thing that I want to say. A very interesting conversation I had with a kid my age who works at a hedge fund here in Miami. Very, very interesting, and I think puts it into a lot of perspective for you guys. I'm going to say it again later in the stream when we have more people here, but I'll say it here now. I was talking to him about, what is his portfolio manager talk to him about, right? What are those conversations he has with the portfolio manager, sort of about risk management, about taking losses. The portfolio manager's goal is to be right 52% of the time. That's their goal as the hedge fund. 52% of the time is their goal. That is what they want to be right? They only strive to be right 52% of the time. A hedge fund who is probably making a lot of money, being right 52% of the time, do you think that when they lose 50% of the time or 48% of the time, do you think that they put their head down, that they blow up their portfolios, that they think they're shit, that they can't accept a loss, right? Put it into a lot of perspective. A hedge fund can be wrong 48% of the time and still be profitable. Their goal is to be 52% of the time correct, right? So there is always, right, as a trader, if you guys are trading the market, if you guys are wanting to be a trader in the market, there will always, always, always be losses, right? And you have to be able to take your loss, keep it manageable, right, and move on and continue to strive for better opportunities, better trades. This is something that it's not just me spieling things here on a live stream, right? It is the importance, or it's the truth, right? It's the truth. So you can't be right every time. So make sure you can accept those losses. Make sure you can keep your mindset correct when you are wrong. It's going to happen a lot of the times. Okay? So very interesting conversation I had, and hopefully that puts something into perspective for your trading. You are going to be wrong at times. It is not avoidable. All right, let's continue. So, Tesla, 255, very key level, right? Very key level. Keep an eye on that 255 level. This could be a nice rejection point, and I'm in short on Tesla from that level yesterday. You guys saw that in the chat. And I continue to hold a portion of my position there at that 255 rejection point. So keeping an eye on that. Nvidia, 443. Big level today to watch. Nvidia has been sort of strong. It's been holding itself up. I would say keep an eye on this 443 today on Nvidia. Apple, 174 rejections. Definitely something to be watching. I like this little rejection that's coming in. Something I will be monitoring. Amazon 100 SMA, another very interesting rejection point today. Microsoft 319.50, previous high. We are holding above it, at least as of now. Qualcomm, Not a stock that I usually watch, but an interesting setup that I wanted to show you today. And then finally, AMD. AMD feels like it's sitting on the edge of a cliff, in my opinion. We'll see if the cliff falls. The cliff could hold on, but it feels to me that AMD is sitting on the edge of a cliff. I will show you guys what I mean by that. All right, so let's get into it. Let's get started. NASDAQ, right? And so we sort of just talked about that, and we'll look at it again here, right? Look at this NASDAQ. You guys can see right here. Yesterday, all we did, and all you had to do, which in hindsight is always easier, but it proves my point, and I have to prove that point to myself too, right? I'm never going to say that I'm a perfect trader because I'm not. No one is perfect. And if you think you can be perfect, you're wrong. You're always going to make little mistakes. So yesterday, my mistake was to not wait, was to be a little impatient and not short up. Oh, I did short up at these highs, but I got caught up in some losses before that tap of the highs, right? If I would have, in hindsight, right, but this is how we learn. This is how we understand what we did wrong. If I would have just waited, simply waited for the supply to hit and then shorted the market, it would have been a clean and easy day, right? Clean, easy, mindless day. All you had to do was wait for that short-term upside to slow down at the previous highs, short that supply. You would have made a very nice day, right? So a good learning lesson of what I did incorrect yesterday, but I am happy I kept my confidence and I did take those puts on both Tesla and QQQ around this, as we were rejecting that supply level. So we watched the same thing again today, right? Nothing has changed. What did we do here in the pre-market? We pushed up into this supply again, and you can see we are rejecting again. So as of right now, right, really not a trade here, in my opinion. Really, we have to see what happens if we fall down into the 14.8. And I think that's possibly where you can see the NASDAQ trade into today. You could probably see the NASDAQ trade back into that 14.8 level, right? Back towards this 14.8, 14.830. We could possibly see us trade back at that channel low. And then at that point, we have to see how the market reacts, what the price action is showing as we get down into that 14.8. But honestly, right, I don't want to make the same mistake I did yesterday. And right here, right, where we're trading on the market, right in this sort of center of this channel, I don't really like any trades here, right? I don't really like what the NASDAQ is doing here. You could put sort of a line here at the previous day lows, right around this 14.870. You can maybe put something around this 14.850 area, right? You could watch this little area here from the previous day lows. But to be honest, guys, I would like to be more patient today, and I'm not going to touch anything, or at least I'm going to speak that into existence. I'm going to try my best to focus on that today, is this 14.800, right? This 14.800, that's where I think you target the NASDAQ downside. That's possibly where we move down into. If we get any type of bounce today, I will look for that reshort up at that 15,000, 15,060. So again, guys, a channel trade. And, if you are patient, if you are strategic, if you are precise, there is plenty of opportunities in this channel. If anything, it's actually easier for some of those traders, right? All they do is short the highs and buy the lows, right? Until it proves to be wrong, right? So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to look for 15,060, 15,000 supply. I'm going to look for 14.8 demand, and I'm going to be cautious getting into trades as we trade through the middle. If we break below 14.8 today, that would also be a short entry for me, right? If I see something like this and we turn these lows into rejection points, right? If I see these lows turn into rejection points today and I see us reject these previous highs once again, right? Then I will look for that downside continuation into that 14,680, 14,700 area. About 100-point downside move is what I would target if we turn 14.8, if we break it and hold below it today. That's something I will be watching as well. All right? So it's the same levels we talked about yesterday. New York, thank you for supporting the stream, brother. Appreciate that. It's the same thing as yesterday. 14.8, 15,000, 15,060, channel trade. Look for the breaks, right? Look to see break and holds above or below. Look to play the supply. Potentially look to play the demand. However, playing the demand is still on my sort of, it's really not the first trade I'm out there looking for, to be honest. I'm really not. Yes, it has worked, but I just don't really have too much confidence in something strong coming in. You definitely can play the demand. I personally just am trying to be cautious after so many of these supply rejections up here about whether this one is going to break this 14.8. We'll see, right? There might be some short-term scalps off that 14.8, so keep an eye on that level down here below today. QQQ, same exact thing, guys, right? Yesterday, what did we do? We rejected the 100 SMA on the QQQ. That's where I started to take those puts. Or as we started to see that 100 SMA rejection. We saw that on Friday of last week. We saw it again yesterday. 363, heavy supply above. You can see we pushed into it again in the pre-market, and we rejected again. On the downside, 357, right? Very clear, 357, 357, 357. So if we start to trade towards 357 today, be careful of holding put options, right? Because this could hold again, right? Because that's just a channel trade. If we break under 357, that is where I look for my next short entry, right? That is where I see my next short entry. If we break under 357, if we hold below it, then I'm looking for new shorts under that level, right? So 357 is really the level I think will come into importance today. You are moving down into it pretty aggressively here. And so we will likely see something of a reaction around this 357 today. We'll have to see which side wins, right? Is it a push back into demand? Is it a consolidation and a hold? Or is it a breakdown, a rejection of 357 for further downside down towards this 353, right? So that's really all I'm watching today, right? And if we just do this, right, then I will look for the rejections up at 363. So watching 363, watching 357, 357, 363, major levels to watch today, here, right, and here. Major levels, channel trades, same as the NASDAQ futures. That's what I'm keeping an eye out for. ES. So the ES is a little bit weaker here, right? The ES has been very weak, really showing no signs of life, to be quite honest. So here's the ES over the last few days, and really, it sort of looks like a head and shoulder formation. These are all important levels. I will delete this one for now because I don't think that one's getting tested here today. But you can see this pretty clearly, guys. This 43.35, 43.40 area, double top, we can see the rejections here, right? We can see the rejections here. We can see the previous support here. We can see the rejection yesterday, and we can see the rejection in the pre-market, right? So that's as clear as day a level. You can clearly see how many times we've reacted to this 43.36 area. We're under the 200 SMA, and the last line of support here looks to be 4,300 on the ES. If the ES today breaks and holds under 4,300, I'm going to assume you see more downside, right? You can watch this previous low here just to be cautious of it, right around there. I'm going to assume that if you break and hold under 4,300 today, if you see something solid under 4,300 today on the ES, you are likely going to see some slippery action. So that is something I will be watching. As of right now, the ES is battling, right? Look at this. You're starting to get the battle. The battle has commenced at 4,300. And the bid and asks, they're going crazy, right? This is going to get very interesting around this 4,300. That's going to be the big level. I'm sure there's a ton of orders there. We have to see what happens at this 4,300 today. You could lower this to like 4,295 just to be cautious of yesterday's lows, right? If we look at this from day over day, you could lower your level to 4,295 just so you are aware of that double bottom low from yesterday, right? You can see right here, 4,295. So maybe you do that just to be protect yourself before you do enter short. Maybe you want to see a break and hold under previous day double bottoms, right? Maybe you want to see that double bottom low turn into rejections before entering shorts. So Pretty clear levels here on the ES, guys, right? It's just a day-over-day channel. I mean, all you had to do yesterday was, or all you had to do, I mean, I guess if you're trading futures, but, it's up, not everyone's trading futures, but all you had to do was, well, first of all, you can see pre-market lows Monday or pre-market lows yesterday morning turned into intraday rejections at 43.36, and then 43.36 turning into pre-market high rejections, and we are back towards yesterday's lows, right? So you can see how clearly these levels are being respected. Look how clearly these levels are being respected on this market. And so all we have to do is try our best to trust our levels. So today, you either look for the demand bounce, right? That's very possible. You could get another demand bounce today. You look for the break and hold below, right? Yesterday's lows. And you could possibly wait. If you get the demand bounce, you wait till short back at the supply highs, right? So you have the demand bounce potential today back into 43.36. You have the break and hold below yesterday's lows, or you could just target the supply highs and wait for that to come in and short that supply high, right? It's depending on what you want to trade, right? Which one do you like today? Those are all very, very viable options today. All three of those trades could absolutely happen today. Which one do you like the best? Which one are you going to target? That is something I would try to formulate as you enter the market. Are you targeting the demand bounce? Are you targeting the break and hold below yesterday's lows, right? Or are you targeting the wait? Are you going to wait for the bounce to come in? And then are you going to just sort of focus in on whether that rejection comes in at that 43.36? Which one do you want to look for today? They're all very viable options. That's what I would be watching on the ES. SPY. Same thing. 30-minute chart. You guys can see right here. The SPY, it's just 425 to 428.50. It's the same exact thing we just talked about. Maybe you lower this level into yesterday's lows just to protect yourself. 424.50, right? You just do that to be careful. You have the 424.50 yesterday's lows. You have the 428.50 yesterday's highs, right? That's all you do. That's your channel. Wait for one of those channel trades to hit. Which one do you want to look for? Do you want to play the upside demand? Do you want to play the break and hold below yesterday's lows? Or do you want to look for the supply rejection at yesterday's highs? Those are the only three trades that you should take, right? The only three trades. If you find yourself in a trade today, ask yourself, what am I looking for? Am I looking for my demand hold? If so, then great. Take that shot if you want to take it. Make sure you have your stops under yesterday's lows. If you take a trade at 428.50, great, right? I'm targeting a yesterday's high a day supply rejection. That's what I'm looking for. If I'm wrong, I'll stop out over yesterday's highs. If you want to look for the break and retest of yesterday's lows, great, right? I'm short under yesterday's lows. I have my stop loss. If we get back above those lows, I'm targeting downside continuation. There is nothing wrong with any of those trades. You have structure. You know where you're trading. You have your stop loss, right? There's no one can tell you whether that's right or wrong. You're no more right or wrong than anyone else targeting those types of trades, right? You're just playing the levels. You're playing a certain strategy. You're taking your shot with clear structure, clear stop losses. There's nothing wrong with that. So 425.50, 428.50. Keep an eye on those levels. Very key today. IWM, what a drop yesterday. Why am I typing in IWM? God, I'm an idiot. Russell, what a drop. What a drop. Beautiful. We talked about this actually. Said I wouldn't be surprised to see a little downside off that 1840. That's exactly what happened. So beautiful downside on the Russell. You find yourself at channel lows here around this 1760. It looks like you may need to even bring this channel low down to like 1740. That might be where that channel low really steps in. 1740 channel low, 1740 channel low. Keep an eye on that 1740 down here in the Russell. Let's see. If the Russell breaks this channel, this could get very interesting. This could get very interesting if the Russell breaks this channel. So keep an eye on this one, guys. Russell getting weak, 1740, 1840. There's no surprise that the Russell's now red on the year. Why is anyone investing in small caps right now, right? It's not surprising, right? It's not surprising that the Russell's red on the year. there's just no hope, no life for small caps right now. Financing is expensive, interest rates are high, right? All these small caps, the way they stay alive, historically at least, is they debt finance. They're financing they're financing their ventures through debt, and that is good during low interest rate environments, right? Because they could build a business on 2% interest and probably turn into a profitable company, taking out 2% notes. But that is not the case anymore, right? If you want to start a venture, a small business, if you want to start some kind of startup, which is not all the Russell is, but it's a portion of the Russell, is maybe fintech or things along that nature. You're paying 8-10% on a loan or a private equity, or let's say a venture capitalist. They're requiring a lot more. So I don't know. It's tough. It's tough right now for a lot of small businesses, I'd say, for small caps, new ventures, fintech companies, everything along those lines. So yeah, Russell weak. I don't expect it to be strong. There's really no logical reason for it to be strong. So just watch your levels. Watch that channel low, 1740. New York, thank you, sir. Vince, this channel changing my trading life. I love this channel. Also, thank you, YouTube, for supporting this channel. Everyone, please like and subscribe this channel. Love you all. New York, Nueva York. Thank you, brother, for the $10 donation. All right. Dow Jones. Interesting. I think I want to put this level at this low, around this 33.4. These lows here. Let me go to the 4-hour here. Yeah, these lows I think are going to be very important. Right here on this 4-hour. You guys can see right here. This 33.275, 33.4 area. Keep an eye on these lows right in here on the Dow. That's going to be your key watch. This 4-hour low back from May. All right? 33.275. This low's around 33.4. Keep an eye on these lows at 4-hour low on the Dow Jones. NQ analysis is gold. Cleared over 3K yesterday. Scalping futures. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Yeah, this is not a bad time to be a future scalper. That's for sure. This looks like a bear flag on the NASDAQ. Yeah, that's not very strong on the NQ there, in my opinion. That's the 4-hour NQ. I mean, you're just rejecting. If you do a little top-down analysis here, let's all take a second and sort of look at where the NASDAQ is rejecting on this 4-hour chart, right? Look at this. You can see right here, NQ, right? We date this back to May, June. You can see right here, previous lows around that 15,060, previous highs around that 15,060, previous lows around that 15,060, and you are just nailing your head right on that 15,060 right now. So, yeah, definitely, I would say weakness is still very much here. I would continue to look for those supply rejections, man. I would continue to trade these supply rejections, and who cares, right? If one time happens where this thing actually does break this supply, then that's the time you take your loss, right? That's the time you take your loss. So you look for the bounce, you play the supply rejection. You do it again, supply rejection. You do it again, supply rejection, right? You get paid 3 times. If this does break above, holds above, right, this is the time you take your loss and you move on. That's how I look at this, right? So I'm going to continue to play these supply high rejections. Wherever I see them come in, I will take my shots. I am not scared to be wrong as a trader. That's just not, I understand that you have to be wrong in this game at times. So that's sort of my mindset here on the NASDAQ, guys, overall. All right, let's continue. Tesla. So I am holding Tesla puts today. I'm holding him up towards the highs from yesterday, which is looking very nice. I'm very happy about them. Here is my trade from yesterday. You guys can see right here. So yesterday around 11:57, I entered Tesla October 13, 250 puts. The chart looked like this. We were up at the highs. I know you can barely see that, but it is what it is. And then just sending an update to the team later day. Chart, very nice downside. So we entered around 11:47, which is up in here, right? Up as we started to reject the 255 supply on Tesla, right? Why did I take that trade? Very easy. Previous day highs, right? Why else? Previous day highs, stop over previous day highs. Very easy trade. Mindless, right? Mindless. And I was telling the group when I was taking this trade, I was already red on the day. I was considering wrapping it up as a red day, but I saw this come in. And when I see something like this come in, it's a mindless trade. And the only reason I don't take this trade is because I'm emotional. I'm scared, right? And I didn't want to do that, right? I wanted to make sure I continued to stay with a confident mindset, right? Continue to take trades that are valid. And this is a valid trade, right? Previous day high. That also lines up with when the NASDAQ was rejecting the previous high as well, right? So very clear, right? We were rejecting that previous high at NQ, and we were also rejecting at that 255, right? So guys, I see a lot of people like ask, what do you define as a rejection, right? And I got to be honest with you guys, right? I don't really care what it I mean, on a trade like this on Tesla, I don't really care what it looks like, right? I'm just looking for any type of weakness. As long as it's moving lower after getting near that level, I'm going to take that trade, right? Because I'm confident in the level, right? I'm confident that this level can be an overall rejection point. So I'm not so much focused on like, oh my God, this is the exact candle I need to get into this trade. For this type of trade, I'm saying to myself, I know we have previous highs at 255, right? I know the NASDAQ is rejecting the previous day highs. I'm starting to see weakness there. I know that Tesla is trading up here near this 255, and I know that if I enter this trade, I have fantastic risk reward, right? If I enter around this 253.50, I'm just going to put a stop loss over yesterday's highs, right? And that's it, right? That's it. I'm just going to trust the yesterday high level. I'm going to trust the supply that's been there. I'm going to enter a trade as close as I can to that level, and I'm going to place a stop over that high, right? And I'm going to accept that I'm going to accept the uncertainties. I'm going to trust my analysis. I'm going to trust my supply level. If I prove to be wrong, I take my loss, right? And that's trading. But this is not what happened, right? Why did I end up winning on this trade? Because my analysis was correct. I trusted my analysis. I played off my level. So, it's not like there's going to be in trading like that thing that's going to make you 100% confident, like that rejection candle that's like, oh my God, I have to enter now. It's never going to be that way. You got to play your thesis, man. My thesis was 255 rejections, right? Previous support here, right? Double top rejection. My thesis is short that 255 high and place your stop and let it go, right? And let it go. So that's sort of, it wasn't like a thing that triggered that short entry. It was just a thesis trade. And I thought, hey, I think Tesla should reject previous day highs. The NASDAQ is, so let's take a shot and let's just manage our risk. So that's Tesla. Sorry for the spiel, but I think that's a very important concept. You got to trust your thesis. You got to go for trades that you like. You got to just accept the risk. You got to accept the risk, and you got to accept that you could be wrong. So 246 is the previous low here. This is the level I'd be watching on the downside today on Tesla. If Tesla breaks under this 246, I think you will have more downside, right, towards that 243. 243 is the 100 SMA. If you break under this previous low from Friday, this 246, this is where I think you can get continuation to the downside towards that 243. I will continue to be in Tesla puts until it stops me out over 255. I will not sell my Tesla puts until Tesla is above 255. I will continue to maintain this position as long as you are below that 255 level. So watching 255 supply, 246 previous Friday lows, and then that 100 SMA at 243. Nvidia. So interesting chart on Nvidia, man. Interesting chart on Nvidia. It's been sort of doing its own thing, right? It's been doing its own thing. And yesterday, it did a beautiful thing. It broke and it held above the previous highs, right? Look at what Nvidia did. You have previous lows, previous high here, previous high here, previous sort of high in this general area as well. And what did Nvidia do yesterday? Look at this right here, right? You have a break, you have a hold, right? And you held that level yesterday, right? You turned that 443.25 area, you turned that into a support, right? That was very important on Nvidia. So today, what am I watching, right? Here's what I'm watching. I'm actually going to move this lower because I don't want to short into previous day highs, or I'm sorry, into Friday's high. So I'm going to move this just a little bit lower. I'm going to understand that there could be demand anywhere between here. I'm going to go 443 to 441.50. I'm going to understand that we could find support anywhere in that green zone. And I'm going to look for this, right? So I'm going to mark out the highs. I'm going to create my red supply zone up there. I'm going to put that there, right? Marking out the previous day highs, making sure I'm aware of where those highs are. I'm going to mark out the previous day lows and that Friday low, and I'm basically just going to look for my trades. 1, 2, 3, and potentially 4, right? That's all I'm doing. That's what I do every single day. That's the only thing I do every day. I mark out the highs, I mark out the lows, I watch some previous highs and lows, and I look for the break and holds above, or I will play the channel. So if Nvidia does a nice little squeeze this morning into yesterday's highs and I start to see weakness step in, I'll look for that fade, right? If Nvidia drops quickly to the demand lows and the market starts to recover, I'll look for that demand hold, right? So Nvidia 452 yesterday's highs. I'd watch the 443 yesterday's lows, major demand down there, okay? New to trading, unsure to what time frame? Miles, that's going to take time, man. It's all about experience. For me, I've switched trading on a few different time frames. For me, I like the 2-minute chart. That's my favorite. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you, Miles, but that's where I like to trade on the intraday. My analysis is on like the hourly 4-hour. Alter, I appreciate that, man. All right, let's continue. Apple, this one's interesting today. This one's really interesting today. I don't recommend putting stops. It's up to you guys. I don't place stops according to premium price. My stop losses are soft stops, guys. They're mental stops. I'm not going to stop out of a stock unless it's really breaking and holding above my stop loss. I think what most people don't do correctly, right, when they trade is here's an example, right, guys? Here's a great example, right? Let's say I take Apple puts with a stop over 174 today, which is what I'm about to talk to you about. If this stock pushes into 174 and you are so over leveraged to your you know what, right? If you're so over leveraged and you're trading with size that you're freaking out over, right? Let's say I take an Apple put near open today. Right? What I would do in this situation is I would get into a position size that allows me the room up to 174, right? It allows me to not panic, not have a panic attack, and not freak out if the stock goes against me, right? And so I am not panicking as the stock goes into my stop loss. I am going to just monitor how it looks and the reactions that happen. Now, if Apple starts to reject here, then I will stay in my position, right? Even though I was in some drawdown, but this drawdown is something that I accept and I acknowledge before I enter. And I position size correctly. Wow, could you imagine position sizing according to your portfolio? I position size correctly so that I can withstand any drawdown if that does happen, right? Now, if Apple does one of these little things and then breaks back below, right, and never holds above that level, I'm not exiting, right? I'm not exiting that Apple put, right? If this just does a little, rip through and then fall right back below, right? I need to see something legitimate, right? And something of a hold above that level before exiting. On top of that, right, there are times in the market where this will get away from you, right? It'll push and it'll squeeze, right? And so in those situations, I have to take my loss, but I am okay, right? This area that I've sort of given the stock above my stop loss, right? This general area that I've I've let it slip a little bit away from my stop, that's not going to crush my account, right? Because I'm still, again, position sizing correctly in my trades, right? There's a lot of things that become a lot more clear when you actually position size with an amount that you are not panicking when you see a red trade in your portfolio. There is a lot of confidence and really clear mindset and thought process that comes when you're down an amount that you are not panicking over as you trade the market. I know it's a hard concept to understand. You can take trades with size that you are not panicked over. I can tell you it's possible, right? And that's something that you have to build yourself up to. If you are trading and you take a loss and you are panicking, you are trading too much money and you will end up losing, I would say 95% of the time. You cannot be panicking when you have a loss going against you. It's not going to work out. That's the honest truth, okay? If that's you, scale down. You're not ready to trade the size that you are currently trading, and that's the honest truth, and I hope that helps you. Hopefully you take what I'm saying to heart, because it will help you, right? It's helped me a lot. When I take losses, I don't even think twice about it. It's not a big deal to me, right? It is what it is. It's part of the game plan. It's part of the business. So let's continue. Apple, right? You guys can see right here, previous lows on Apple, 174, very clear. Look at the double bottom lows on Apple. You broke, you're breaking back into it. Look at the rejections that are coming in on Apple. If Apple breaks this bear flag, I'm all about this trade, right? If Apple breaks this flag, if we see market weakness today, I'm all about this break and retest of 174 for downside. So will I look to enter this trade today? Yeah, for sure. Right? For sure. And I'll just put a stop over 174, right? Because that trade is valid until you get over 174, right? This bounce does not invalidate a trade, right? That bounce does not invalidate the trade. This move invalidates the trade, right? The break and hold above 174. So if you get a little bounce here, don't panic, right? Maintain your position. As long as your position sized correctly, right, you can maintain that position. I'm going to be looking to see, as long as Apple's under 174, I'll be looking to see if I can play that short today. An idea that I'm going to be watching. Amazon, very similar stock setup, very similar chart setup. You guys can see right here, thick boy 100 SMA, thick boys. Around that 129.50, 130. Look at the rejections that came in at that level yesterday, right? Look at this. Look at the 5-minute chart yesterday on Amazon. Bam, rejection, bam, bam. Got through it there, quickly back under. Bam, bam, bam. Bam again in the pre-market, right? You can see right there, 100 SMA, very clear. Amazon rejection, something I'm watching today. If you break this trend and you reject that 100, I will be looking for something very similar to Apple, right? Demand probably steps in around this 126.50, right? Right around this 126.50 is where that demand could step in. So if you do get that downside, be careful there. You might want to wait for maybe a little break and retest of 126.50 for even more further confirmation. All right? Microsoft, Qualcomm, and AMD, and then we are out of here. So Microsoft, watch this previous high here, right? Watch this previous high right here, 319.50. You guys can see right here, 319.50. Watch that previous high right there. You guys can see previous day highs on Friday of last week. Do we turn that back into a rejection, right? If we turn that back into a rejection at 319.50, then I would look for downside continuation today. That's about all I have for you on Microsoft. Watch 319.50. Qualcomm, this one's interesting. Not a stock I typically trade, but a very interesting little bear flag action going on here on Qualcomm. Possibly a very nice weak move here. So you guys can see right here, Qualcomm has been grinding higher on dead volume back into this 112 level, right? 112 was a previous rejection here. 112 was also a previous major support on this stock, right? We sort of held above this 112 area for a long time. We are back below it, and this looks like a little bit of an interesting bear flag to me, right? That looks pretty damn interesting to me. So if Qualcomm, all right, if you want to set this trade up, maybe just have a stop over that 112 level, right? And look for that Qualcomm flag break. This is definitely something I'm watching today. Last one I got for you was what? It was AMD, the one that possibly is falling off a cliff. I would watch for break and retests of yesterday's lows on AMD. That would be my key watch, all right? AMD, very clear yesterday double bottom low right here around this 101.70, right? And I just think it's ready to, I think there's, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I could be dead wrong here, guys. But I want to take advantage of this pump and this straight, right? I think it can move very quickly in this general area. Between this area right here, I think AMD can move very quickly because of what it's done in the past in this area, right? You can see right here, big break, big squeeze. So if we get back into that zone, if we turn yesterday's lows into a rejection today, I will absolutely be watching AMD to the downside on a break and retest of yesterday's double bottom lows, all right? Definitely something I'm watching today. All right? We got 1,900 people here. Wow. Thank you guys for the likes. It seems like you guys did enjoy today's live stream. We got some likes there in the chat. Thank you for that. Thank you guys for the donations today. New York, appreciate that. Thank you guys for the likes, the subscriptions. If you guys are new here, if you enjoyed today's live stream, Anne Marie, that's far and gone. That's far, and that is way past. We're not bringing that back up. That is, I don't want anything to do with that. So press that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you guys could. I hope you guys did enjoy the live stream. And let's do it again tomorrow. Let's do it again tomorrow. Good luck today. Watch your futures levels. And yeah, that's about it. Got 1,000 likes. We did our job. And I'm going to run an ad on you guys at the end of this live stream. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.